Welcome back to the only YouTube channel in the Upside Down. You are just in time because Stranger Things Day is right around the corner. November 6th, the day Will Byers went missing, is coming up quick, and you are not going to want to miss it because this just might be the very last Stranger Things Day before the end of the show. With Season 5 being in the final months of filming and considering their track record with the past Stranger Things days, there's a really good chance we're going to get some huge Season 5 teases this year. And not only that, but also Netflix just had their Geeked Week recently, and while usually it's a multiple day event where there's hours of new Stranger Things content and interviews and cast videos, honestly, this year was a huge letdown. At least for Season 5 teasers. All we got was a cool little fan video of a tour around the set showing off some props, which, don't get me wrong, is still cool, but it feels like they weren't ready to drop some Season 5 teasers yet and they were saving them for something bigger. Perhaps the last Stranger Things Day? I mean, it only makes sense. If you don't want to miss the next big Stranger Things update, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on and you won't be run over by Billy. I am so excited for Season 5. I really hope they give us something significant for the last Stranger Things Day. They've been hinting at a 2025 release for a while now, and while it is subject to production holdups and reshoots and other things you can't really plan for, I think they're going to do everything in their power to give us Season 5 by the end of next year. Usually they love the big summer releases while everyone's out of school, but you gotta remember, Season 3 dropped on July 4th, which directly lined up with Hawkins' Independence Day celebration. And Season 2 dropped October 27th, Halloween weekend, and lined up perfectly with the trick-or-treating storyline. They love to release the seasons close to where they actually take place in the year, and with Season 5, it looks like it will most likely be taking place in the fall, especially with all these pumpkins. And since they already covered Halloween, what if they chose to release Season 5 on Stranger Things Day 2025? That would be the best possible present to the fans. And honestly, this is one of the things I'm hoping they drop this Stranger Things Day. I'm hoping we get a solid Season 5 release date. While this is one of the things I'm hoping we get, I think there's a couple other things that would be even better. Season 4 came out summer of 2022, which means we've already had 2 Stranger Things days with Season 5 teases, and this will be the last. In 2022, they gave us the title for the first episode of Season 5. This is actually the same thing they did with Season 4. 2 years before it aired, on Stranger Things Day 2019, they gave us Season 4's first episode's title. So it's very fitting they gave us the first episode of Season 5 almost 3 years before the show will drop. I mean, originally we may have gotten it in late 2024, but because of the actor and screenwriter strikes, it was pushed back into production, I think 5 months combined, so fingers crossed we're getting a 2025 release. But the next Stranger Things Day in 2023, they dropped the first scene of Season 5, which is crazy. The opening scene of the crawl, and it's this: darkness, the sound of cold wind, groaning trees, and a child's voice singing a familiar song. I love that they're starting out Season 5 with this. I can't help but feel like this is a flashback to Season 1 where Will was inside of the Upside Down, hiding in Castle Byers, singing "Should I Stay or Should I Go?"
So, come on and let me know. Should I stay or should I go?
It would be so cool if this is how Season 5 starts. A flashback to Will hiding here right before Castle Byers gets knocked in by a Demogorgon. Or maybe Vecna, who knows? We've already seen the behind-the-scenes pictures of the young Will they got for the flashback scenes, and honestly, he looks so good, even before they digitally replace his face. But this is huge. This is the extent of Season 5 teases we've gotten in the past Stranger Things days, and while I do think they should drop the official release date, I think they can do way more. Personally, the thing I want to see the most is a Season 5 trailer, or maybe a small teaser at the very least. Don't get me wrong, I love all the behind-the-scenes content, especially the videos they gave us, but we have had nothing in terms of story. I would love to see a small teaser at the very least. They are still filming the season, but at this point they should be over 75% finished. And that is way more than enough footage for a small teaser. And we're not talking any big spoilers or action scenes. I mean, I don't even need to see too much of Vecna. Maybe just a couple frames at the end and I'd be happy. Nothing that requires too much post-production visual effects. I'm sure they've started on all of that, but that will most definitely take the majority of 2025 to finish up. With Season 4, they were literally editing Volume 2 after Volume 1 had dropped. And this is going to be the biggest season yet. They just keep getting longer each time. And while there is going to only be 8 episodes in Season 5 compared to 9 in Season 4, it sounds like they'll all be longer, and combined, we will get a longer season than last year. And Season 4 was almost 13 hours. Honestly, I don't know how they could wrap up all the loose ends and questions in less time than that. I'm sure having less new elements and characters should definitely help, especially the fact that it will be a much closer storyline than last season with Hawkins, California, Russia, and Hawkins' lab, but I still think it might feel a little bit rushed. They said that when the season starts, everything and everyone will already be well in motion. There won't be a lot of time spent on setup, but still, they're going to have to explain the 1 to 2 year time jump in between season 4 and 5 and explain everything that happened, as well as explain where Vecna crawled off to after the Creel house and how he's doing. They're going to have to explain why the Upside Down is stuck in November 6, 1983, which honestly is even more reason to release season 5 this day next year. They're also going to have to resolve the love triangle between Nancy, Steve, and Jonathan, as well as figure out how to save Max from being in a coma, and explain what the town of Hawkins thinks about the giant portal to hell that split their town in 4. And that's not even including all the new elements like the radio station and Dustin grieving Eddie's death, which will probably be a huge part of the season, and they've also promised Will a much larger role this season. All of that in 13 hours is bound to feel a little bit rushed, but I am excited to see how they pull it all off. But the next thing I would love to see is the episode titles revealed. They did this for season 4 on Stranger Things Day 2021, a year before it released, which lines up perfectly for them to do it this year. They actually released season 4's final teaser as well as the episodes, which means they could give us both again for this season. And honestly, I feel like the episodes reveal is a pretty bare minimum thing that we can almost guarantee they're going to release. They've known the episode titles for probably 2 years now. They gave us the first one in the opening scene, and I feel like it's not that much to ask for them to reveal the rest of the titles. Plus, honestly, it gives us a ton of things to be excited for and speculate about. They did this for season 2 and 3, but when they did it, they released decoy titles, ones that were more safe to avoid spoilers or just didn't reveal the final episode titles. And I'm totally fine if they want to do this for the last episodes of season 5 because it will literally be the finale of the entire show. When they did this with season 4, we suspected the final episode, The Piggyback, was a decoy, but they ended up just using that and picked something so vague and generic that's still tied to the episode, but it didn't reveal anything. I'm sure with this being the last season, they will be more careful than ever to avoid any spoilers. Now, this is something that hasn't even been confirmed yet, but in my opinion, this Stranger Things Day would be the perfect day to announce this next thing. So most of you know about Stranger Things: The First Shadow, but for those of you that don't, they made a 3-hour-long prequel stage play that debuted in London and will now be opening in Broadway that follows a young Henry Creel as his family moves to Hawkins. I was lucky enough to attend the 7th public early screening with the show's creator himself, Stephen Daldry, which was super cool, but the play follows not only a young Henry Creel as he tries to fit into Hawkins High and is discovering his new powers still, but it also introduces young versions of Bob Newby, Joyce Byers, well, she's in high school, so she hasn't been married and she's not a buyer, she's Joyce Maldonado, and Jim Hopper. They go on a little adventure investigating the weird happenings that Henry Creel is causing around town, and there's a ton of scenes with young Henry first being tested on in MK Ultra by Brenner. The show itself is so amazing and contains so many critical plot details and story info that you almost need to see it before watching season 5. But obviously, not everyone can travel across the world to go watch this stage play. They would never expect all the fans to be able to do that. But typically, really popular stage plays will be filmed for digital releases, so anyone is able to enjoy it in the comfort of their own home. And they actually filmed a teaser trailer for the play itself that looks incredible and is essentially how you'd get to watch it at home. All of the effects still look great and you feel like you're right on stage with the actors. Even though I watched it right in front of me in person, I would want to watch it like this as well. They also changed and revised a lot of things since I've seen it, and I think it'd be so cool to hear them announce that it will be releasing on Netflix next year so everyone can watch it before season 5. This would be the perfect time to announce this. I mean, it hasn't even been confirmed that they're going to release it digitally, so grain of salt, but it's honestly hard to believe they wouldn't. Now, each year they also usually drop a lot of awesome behind the scenes pictures that we're going to keep an eye out for. These are always really cool, but honestly, ever since season 4, they've been posting behind the scenes pictures like crazy. A lot of awesome season 4 pics were dropped, and recently we've actually been getting a ton of behind the scenes pictures for season 5. I'm sure they'll still try to dig in the vault and find some old school images that never saw the light of day, but they also release new art and some new posters sometimes. Stranger Things Day in 2019 was 4 months after season 3's release, so they dropped the bloopers for the season, but we already got season 4 bloopers just 2.5 months after its premiere. And the next best thing they could give us this Stranger Things Day is an update or maybe a release date or even a small teaser trailer for either of the 2 other spin-off shows they announced. The first is an animated show that will feel similar to old 80s morning cartoons. They've said that these spin-offs will not be connected with the main Stranger Things story, but will revolve around their own characters and stories and just take place in the same universe, which gives them a lot of freedom with these new shows. And the other is a live-action spin-off, which I'm really excited about. Again, no connection to the original show, but maybe we'll get an update on either of these too. It is possible that we could get a new game announcement or something, maybe an update to the Dead by Daylight DLC. I would love to try playing that sometime. It looked like so much fun. They also released a DLC for Far Cry that was sick. I would love to see more stuff like that. And then there's always the chance they do another collab with Fortnite. Both are insanely popular and I wouldn't be surprised. There's usually a lot of cool merch drops to be on the lookout for, and they just announced that they will be screening the Trick or Treat episode from Season 2 at the Egyptian Theater in LA on October 31st for Halloween. This is so cool. For Stranger Things Day in 2022, they put the 2 final episodes of Season 4 in 20 different theaters across the US. I know the Duffers have wanted to release Stranger Things in theaters for a while now, so I always get excited when they do little screenings here and there. It would be insane if they figured out how to release Season 5 in theaters. With over 13 hours of content, I don't know how on earth you would do that. 1 to 2 episodes a day, maybe? Because that would be a long marathon to do outside of your house. Maybe the 2 finale episodes, but I don't know if I could sit in my local sticky theater here in Florida for 13 hours straight. But what about you? Let me know in the comments what you want the most from the final Stranger Things day, and if you're subscribed, I will see you in the next one. Peace.